Good morning, sixth graders. Happy Friday. Happy Friday, the 3-day weekend. Happy pajama day. I'm wearing my pajama-y things right now. I hope everybody is doing great and ready to finish the week strong so that you can relax and have fun and have an amazing weekend. Let's go ahead and get started. Our book talk today is one that I just finished like 2 weeks ago. It's called Some Places More Than Others. It's by Renee Watson. It's a realistic fiction book. It's about a girl who lives with her family in Portland, Oregon. And her dad is from New York, so she really wants to go to New York and meet his family. She hasn't met many of them. She hasn't met her grandfather because he and her father have been estranged, which means like they're separated because of a fight or something since she was born. So anyway, she really feels like if she goes to New York, she's going to understand more about who she is as a person and about her roots and her family and things like that. So I really enjoyed it. I think you guys will too. So Some Places More Than Others. If you are interested, email me. Okay, all we're doing for language arts today is you're taking your circuit assessment in Otis. Okay, again, this is grading you. The most important thing is not necessarily your knowledge of the circuit, although that's important too, but it's using the ACE strategy effectively. So making sure that you're answering the question, citing evidence, and then explaining that evidence. Okay, and we've gone over this a lot. I definitely think you are ready for this assessment. And again, I think I talked about this yesterday, but this is your first summative assessment for class. And I know that summative is probably a new word for a lot of you. So any of your assignments and quizzes and tests are either a summative quiz or test or assignment or formative. And formative does not count towards your final grade. That's kind of just like practice, checking in with you, things like that. Your summative grades do go towards your report card grade. So that's why this assessment is more important than some of the earlier ones that we've had. Okay, so if you want to, you can go ahead and push pause on this video and go take your assessment. Okay, or you can continue and listen to your social studies lesson and then take the assessment after that. That is the beauty of distance learning. You can mix it up a little bit, do things in your own way, as long as you get everything finished. All right, so today we are going to start learning about early humans. Okay, that's our first unit for social studies. And we're really going to start learning about it next week. But today I'm just going to introduce you, show you a few videos, and get to know the early humans. So right here, this is a slideshow. Okay, and you can go back and explore this on your own time. I'm going to go through it pretty quickly. Next week, when we go into more depth, then we're going to maybe refer back to this slideshow and watch some more. So early humans. The essential question we're thinking about for next week is how our human ancestors have adapted or changed to survive in their environment. We talked about this a little bit when we read the circuit. We talked about it a little bit when we read All Summer in a Day. So now we're thinking about how early humans have changed to survive in their environment or adapted. Those two words are synonyms, so they mean the same thing. Okay, here are two videos. We're going to watch these really quick. Like I said, you can go back to watch them on your own time if you want to watch them again. So let's get this started.
Grammarly can help you write quickly and confidently.
As soon as I can, I will skip
to
the
slow
ads.
down at work.
The oldest fossils of our species, Homo sapiens, are found in Africa at multiple locations. All males of our species are descendants of one man, Y chromosome Adam, the original African ancestor of all mankind.
Based on the Y chromosome genes, we can tell that each man that you have today on the planet Earth is connected because that chromosome goes from the father to the son. The Y chromosome Adam lived somewhere between 150 and 70,000 years ago.
Y chromosome Adam probably lived in a small community, maybe 20 to 50 people at any given moment. They probably lived in the woodlands and grasslands, either East Africa or South Africa, somewhere in between.
I think on the savannah, what you see, the ability to sweat, the ability to dump heat, and move in the midday sun, that becomes a huge survival advantage. And that, in keeping with the thumb and the larger brain, the more strategic ability to hunt, is really what sort of fuels us through that period.
People have this idea that early humans just sat up one day and said, we're going to move to Asia, we're going to move to Europe. It probably didn't work that way. It was probably people slowly expanding their geographic range, one valley at a time.
We know that we left Africa sometime around 70,000 years ago. It was a very slow and progressive phenomenon that took thousands of years and generations and generations. Homo sapiens made it to Europe by about 40,000 years ago, and this is in the middle of the Ice Age.
At the time our human ancestors were migrating out of Africa, our future wasn't preordained to be successful. They were in competition with other species. The Neanderthals were expanding out of Europe. There are other hominin populations in Asia following their own evolutionary trajectory.
Our survival was never assured and will never be assured. However, Homo sapiens are extraordinary in terms of the fact that they have this ingenuity.
We're a smart species. We have no rivals among living animals for the level of creativity and intelligence that we possess. I'm very optimistic about the future of our species.
All right. So
You're
that
not a
was
dish.
new. Excuse me. Okay. So that was the first video we're going to watch. Now we're going to watch another video from the Smithsonian. And again, while we're watching these videos, I want you to be thinking in your mind about how early humans change and adapted. How are these people so different from than we are today, how we are today, and what we've done with our lives to make us different from those very first humans.
Researchers have uncovered partial remains of nearly 6,000 early humans known as hominins. These discoveries have transformed ideas about human evolution and upended some conventional thinking.
So there is no straight evolutionary line from chimps to humans.
That's the old icon of the march of evolution
Right.
from a chimpanzee-like ancestor to modern humans.
For years, we've imagined it like this: a straight line of evolution, where each fossil species simply evolved neatly into the next. Scientists no longer believe that humans evolved in such a linear way. While we do share a common ancestor with chimpanzees, many separate branches of the human family descended from that one ancestor, starting some 6 million years ago. And each branch includes several species, like Homo erectus and the Neanderthals, and our own Homo sapiens. One species didn't dislodge another. In fact, many lived at the same time.
Our evolutionary history has been one of many different, what I like to think of as experiments in being human. Some had smaller brains, some had larger brains, some used tools, some did not. They all walked around on two legs. They all had each of these species had some elements of what it means to be a human being.
All right. So that is that. Okay. Then going here, we're going to be talking about different eras. And at the beginning of the year, when we were talking about timelines and time periods and things like that, we talked about eras. So the Paleolithic era is the first part of the Stone Age. I'm going to say so many words wrong. Sorry. I know how to say them. It's just get in and out. Paleolithic means old stone. And the Paleolithic era lasted from when our hominin ancestors first used tools, which was about 2.5 million years ago, to when humans started to settle in one place, which was about 10,000 BCE. So that's before the Common Era or before Christ. So a tool, I think you guys know what a tool is, but just thinking about it, That is an object that has been modified to help a person accomplish a task. During the Paleolithic era, stone tools were made mostly to hunt and gather food. Okay, and we're not going to go over this right now, but if you want to watch this video, it's What Did They Eat? This slideshow can be found in your Social Studies Weekly Planner, okay, on Friday. But so that's another video. Extinct species are known by their fossils, and fossils are bones that are found in the ground or anything left over related to organic matter or life. Okay, so here are a bunch of old skeleton skulls. Homonyms, they mentioned this in the video, that is the group of our ancestors that consists of modern humans, extinct human species, and all of our immediate ancestors. Okay, so they adapted to their environment to survive. Right here we have Homo habilis, that is a human ancestor that appeared about 2.5 million years ago. It learned to make tools, and its name means handyman, which is kind of funny, but that's the first one to use tools. Then we have Homo erectus, and that is a human ancestor that appeared about 2 million years ago, and it learned how to control fire, and its name means upright man. Erectus means to upright. So that was like the first man that stood upright like we do today and wasn't bent over all the time. And then Homo sapiens, they are the modern humans. So they pretty much looked like we do today. And Homo sapiens appeared about 200,000 years ago. And its name means wise man because its brain started working like we use our brains today. All right. There were many hominid species. One survived, most went extinct. So right here is all part of our family tree. Okay, there's another video here. Why are we still here? I'll give you a hint. It has to do with adapting. Okay. I'm going to show you that video today because this is where we're going to start getting into adaptation and change, which we'll be getting into more next week. So let's watch this video quickly. It's short. It's just a little over a minute.
Hey, do you want to save money when you shop online? You should click right here and download Honey. No. Don't click there. Click here.
Oh.
This episode is supported by 23andMe. Look around and you'll meet some pretty smart animals, but there's no species quite like us. But that wasn't always true. As recently as 50,000 years ago, we walked the planet along with at least 3 other human species. Denisovans and real-life hobbits, Homo floresiensis, didn't leave much behind to know them by. But Neanderthals are a different story, a richer story. The first people to hold Neanderthal skulls didn't know what to make of them until Charles Darwin published his theory of evolution. Like every living thing, modern humans must have descended from an earlier species, and lots of scientists thought Neanderthals fit the bill, our primitive, slightly dim-witted ancestors. Ernst Haeckel even tried to name them Homo stupidus. Other scientists had different ideas. They rebuilt skeletons to look like cartoon cavemen, instead insisting Neanderthals were some failed evolutionary dead end. So, where do Neanderthals fit in the human story? Were they a bunch of cotton-headed mini-muggins, or were they more intelligent and human than we give them credit for? And if they were smart, why did they disappear after they met us? Did Neanderthals really disappear after all? If you were sharing a subway car with a bunch of humans and a well-groomed Neanderthal, you might not be able to tell who's who. But that's New York for you. But there were some differences. The big brow ridge, huge nose, weirdly short forearms and shins, and big muscles. These were adaptations to life in cold northern climates, while our skinny ancestors were built for a warmer, runnier existence. Our bodies are different, but similar enough that when Neanderthals and our species first met, we would have seen something familiar staring back at us. Neanderthal life carried serious occupational hazards, considering dinner meant going head-to-head with woolly mammoths and rhinoceros like some Paleolithic rodeo rider. Their fossil remains show healed, broken bones, even signs that some were blind. meaning Neanderthal tribes cared for and fed their sick and injured. They even buried their dead. We don't know if that's because they were spiritual or religious, but Neanderthals definitely weren't violent brutes. They were caring and social. By 250,000 years ago, there were brains walking around in Germany as big or bigger than yours or mine, only inside Neanderthal skulls. But if brains were everything, blue whales would be our overlords. They're not, right? Neanderthals used this tool about 200,000 years ago. 150,000 years later, that technology had progressed to this. Not exactly Steve Jobs. It's clearly not the size of a brain. It's how you use it. Our symbolic thinking, social interactions, technological innovation, and dad jokes just wouldn't be possible without our brain's ability to fancy words together make. You know, intricate phraseology, elaborate discourse, complex language. So could Neanderthals talk? We know that we and Neanderthals share the same version of a gene, FOXP2, that's essential for a language. But that gene alone isn't enough to make a caveman Shakespeare. The shape of Neanderthal brains inside their skulls suggests they had structures important for speech. Their throats were shaped to make more than ape sounds. That's most of the ingredients for some kind of speech and language. But rich communication is possible even without mouth noises. Scientists think Neanderthals could have exchanged ideas and told stories by combining simple sounds, musical tones, and rhythmic movement. Just like prehistoric boy bands. Around 50,000 years ago, Neanderthals met their very smart cousins, us. For 5 or 10,000 winters and summers, our ranges overlapped until Neanderthals suddenly disappeared. Just poof, about 40,000 years ago. Were we friends or enemies? Wherever our nomadic hunting groups clashed for territory, our species had deadlier weapons. Whereas Neanderthals lived in socially isolated groups, we readily exchanged technology between tribes, even traded. When it came to innovation and competition for resources, Neanderthals just couldn't catch up. Or maybe we just gave them an extinction level case of the flu. At their peak, Neanderthal populations probably never reached 6 figures worldwide. Like gorillas and orangutans today, they lived in small dispersed pockets, which means more inbreeding and less genetic diversity. Maybe Neanderthals were already endangered when we showed up. Before they disappeared, Neanderthals left us one present. In 2010, the Neanderthal genome was sequenced from ancient bones. That genome was compared to modern human genomes. 1 to 4% of all the genes from all living humans outside sub-Saharan Africa came from Neanderthals. People with sub-Saharan ancestry know Neanderthal DNA. This tells us Homo sapiens shared a romantic campfire with Neanderthals and interbred. Probably right after our species left Africa, spreading that Neanderthal DNA as we settled the rest of the globe. Thanks to genetic testing, I know I have more Neanderthal DNA than 70% of people, which to me is proof Neanderthals were definitely intelligent and awesome. So, 50,000 years ago, we walked beside other humans. We haven't completely solved the mystery of why they disappeared, except to discover they aren't totally gone. They live on inside us, the only humans left. But the 7.5 billion of us alive today share more than these distant ancestors. We're a lot more related than you think. And we'll talk about that next time. Stay curious. Thanks to 23andMe for sponsoring this episode. The name 23andMe comes from the fact that human DNA is organized into 23.
All right, so that was a little longer than I thought, but that's okay because it was super interesting. So we are going to continue on with this slideshow next week and learning about early humans. I hope that you guys are interested and excited to learn. I hope you have a wonderful weekend. Going back to this slideshow really quick, do not forget to do your weekly checkout in Otis. If you can fill it out in the assessment section. Please make sure you do that. Have a wonderful weekend. I can't wait to see you guys on Tuesday of next week.